All right, what's going on? Um, I'm doing this as a test, checking out this temporary software. So decided to go live. Let me start with Baby Miller. Okay, many fans, boxers, media, they are beating Jarrell Miller down, and rightfully so. He's failed his third test or series of tests in three different on three different occasions. Um, 2014 in kickboxing, in 2019 leading up to a fight with Anthony Joshua, and last week, about a week and a half before his top rank debut against someone I consider a live dog, Jerry Forrest. Um, excuse me. I'm not going to beat Miller down like everyone else. What I was hoping for was for him to defend himself, or at least make some kind of statement. And I don't know if we going to get that, or if we got it. I didn't see anything, but I've reached out to Memo Memo Heredia, who is a knowledgeable figure about athletes and doping. Okay, Angel or Angel Memo Heredia, and I asked him if drugs can be in your system for 18 months, and he said no, not that long. And where I was going with it is, if he tested for a certain drug but didn't try to um, cycle on and cycle off, could whatever he, because he got uh, he failed a test with multiple things in his system. Could one of those things have lasted uh, 18 months in his system? He said no. So then I told him, with Povetkin, Alexander Povetkin, he had this drug, and many months later, there were some remnants of that drug left in his system, according to some reports. And so Angel or Memo didn't respond to me as of yet on that. So we'll see what he has to say. Um, but this doesn't look good for Miller. And what made things worse is um, he apparently deleted his Instagram account. And I'm not, well, his Twitter account, I should say, lives on. But his last post on Twitter was a retweet in March of 2019. But the gram is where people go to follow people these days and get news and such. And that account has been deleted. So so most people are on the gram. Most of them are on Instagram, and that's not a good sign. Not a good sign here. Um, by doing so, he's acting like, well, a big baby. And this is a red flag. And I have to be honest, while I agree this is a sign of a mental thing with him and a thing where he feels he needs the juice to get to the next level, and then and then you just can't get off of taking stuff. I mean, I get all of that. All right. And you know what? If you feel that way about him, I tell you that you are right. But here's the thing though, by failing this third time and and deleting his social media account or accounts, I'm concerned for the young man's mental health. And I hope he has some good people around him. And I'm not talking about his boxing team. And what I mean is, he's 31 years old, soon to be 32. He never got to the major payday, but he got oh so close to getting it, right? And he would have earned somewhere in the area of $8 million if he would have fought Joshua. And if he would have beaten Joshua that night, where it seemed any of us might have beat Joshua that night, he says he maybe would have made $15 million in the rematch. Two fights, $23 million. You're set for life if you don't get outrageous with your spending. Think about it. You don't have money. You go from a potential $23 million to zero. Just put yourself in there. You were supposed to play six digits in the lottery. That's my man calling me. I had to um, shut him down. Give me a second. Let me just tell him why I had to hang up. Um, all right. Hopefully he'll get that. Anyway, um, so you play these six digits all the time. You know you got one in a trillion chance of winning, but Mega Millions comes out, the Powerball, whatever, and you go. Um, you always play it. You always play it, but you forget, and then your numbers hit, once in a lifetime opportunity, and you go from not playing the numbers and winning, which would have won you $23 million, to nothing, zero, and that's what happened to him. Then you delete your media, your social media, out of embarrassment. So where do you go from here? I mean, Miller needs to have a solid support system now, because by handling matters this way, I'm concerned for the young man. I mean, he shut his social media down out of embarrassment. He's running. Yes, he was stupid if he was trying to cycle off of something. But let me ask people something. First of all, has his B sample come back? I didn't read up on that. But seriously, he has a potential ban from boxing. Mind you, now New York didn't suspend him um, after the Joshua debacle because he didn't have a license. So technically, as a licensed fighter, this is his first offense in boxing. And I'm merely stating that his family and his true friends need to keep an eye on him for at least the next couple of years, especially when things really sink in. When they sink in, And it really hits him what he's lost and what's happened. Where does he go? How does he earn a living? That's I'll just say that that puts him in the danger zone, and they just need to keep an eye on him. I'm gonna leave it at that. Uh, all right, I'll go there. I also won't beat him down for another reason. It's the conversation nobody wants to have. Here's the thing. Baby Miller accused Anthony Joshua of being a drug cheat. Okay. He accused other boxers by name. Also, why am I saying this? It's often the accuser that's the guilty party, right? Remember that. I'll come back to that. But let's not isolate Miller. And here's what I wrote on Twitter. Just remember one thing. Baby Miller got caught. That doesn't mean the others aren't using, and he is. In this sport, it's running rampant, and it's the guys at the top. But fans and media give passes. I'd guess 80% of the boxers out there today at the top are using PEDs, and that number may be low, 80%. That might actually be low. And I'm talking about the top guys. Now, nobody cares what I write on Twitter, but let's be real. You have Saul Alvarez, who failed multiple tests. I made a few videos mentioning this, and mysteriously, I stopped receiving press releases from Golden Boy. And so I guess that's their way of doing what Miller did by running from this. You have Floyd Mayweather Jr., who a writer, a well-known writer, a long-time writer, alleged failed 3 drug tests and who got a handful of therapeutic use exemptions. Okay. Floyd Jr., everybody's guy. I mean, the same guy who's laughable when he called USADA the standard for boxing testing, yet who violated not only WADA, not USADA, not only USADA and VADA rules when he had an IV in his house or in his on his premises the day before the Pacquiao fight. Not only WADA, USADA, and VADA, but the Nevada Athletic Commission standards violated. What happened? Where's the outcry? Where would the outcry have been if Manny had said IV at his place? Once again, the accuser, and I'll let you finish the rest. Did James Toney get a pass? Did Tyson Fury get a pass? How do people view Alexander Povetkin or Louis Ortiz? Did they get passes? It's like people kill me. I mean, fans, writers, boxers. We view some cases one way and others another way. But why? Popularity, favorite fighter, clean image. I mean, You got fire out there with Canelo and Big Baby. You got smoke out there with Mayweather Jr. and Ortiz and Holyfield. But people are such nut huggers out there, such hard nut huggers. They turn their head the other way for some, but not for others. But use common sense. Why would an IV be needed the night, the night before, like the highest grossing fight of all time? People don't want to talk about it. People want to, writers don't want to lose credential opportunities, and so the list goes on. Um, why wasn't the IV turned over to authorities, um, the proper ones? No answer. And what's a 6 month suspension going to do to someone who fights 8 months later anyway? So if Saul Alvarez, who I don't think was fined at all, if he gets a 6 month suspension for a May fight, and he's not going to fight 8 months later anyway, where's the punishment? It's not like he couldn't train. It was just business as usual. You hand out stern, and I mean stern, punitive damages, and then you'll start getting people's attention. When you start being stern with it and including monetary, I mean, like big time punitive. When I'm talking about money, then then we're talking about step one and cleaning things up. But then again, if you have a fighter out there who kind of threw $23 million away, I mean, that in itself, without the fine, is like, man, you just blew it. So I'm eager to hear what he's going to eventually say. Um, a known trainer once told me, beware of fighters who fight only once or twice a year. And he's right, because those are your guys. Nevertheless, boxing doesn't care about doping. It doesn't punish enough. It protects the guilty. It covers up. It lies. It takes payola. USADA is popping major MMA guys, but what about major boxing guys? It doesn't add up. But you know what? It's fine. Boxing doesn't want to have this conversation, so I don't either. I guess. We'll wait until something happens. And then the conversation will be back on the table. Let's move on. Deontay Wilder, excuse number 8. Count them. And now his brother chimes in. Not one, not two, not three, but 4 months since Wilder's loss to Tyson Fury. Marcellus Wilder says Deontay suffered a dent. You know, like when you have a car accident and your fender gets bent in, a dent to his head. He claims that no glove or no fist could have caused. Okay. Hey, Marcellus, got a question for you. Could a costume headpiece with glowing lights caused the dent in someone's head. A headpiece that was maybe too heavy. Come on, guy. Let's move on. Let's talk about American boxing. The top ranked fights on ESPN have been welcomed by boxing fans, at least the true boxing fans. And they'll continue, and the matchups will keep getting better. The zone is about to come back strong, and Premier has one card lined up also. And so we'll talk about the scheduled fights and rumored ones in a minute. But in America, once you try to make the bigger fights, the only way to pay guys is to have a live gate. Okay? And if you look at ESPN, Las Vegas is nowhere near ready for a live gate. Neither is New York, neither is California, nor anywhere in the United States. So if Floyd Mayweather Jr. were indeed to fight Adrian Broner, sure, it would do its fair share of pay-per-view sales. Absolutely. But in order to cover the pay for both fighters, you need a live gate. Fans, beer sales, t-shirt sales, rooms, gambling, advertising, sponsors, the whole nine. But the key is having live bodies in the arenas. And we're just not there right now in this country. Also, a Mayweather Jr. versus Broner type fight needs fans there just because that's a fight that needs a lot of energy. It needs to be in front of all kinds of fans, loudmouths, gangsters, intoxicated groups, the whole nine. And I say that only half kiddingly too. And we're just not there. And so the short term and maybe medium to long term solution is to sell the fights to other countries who are better equipped. Better equipped meaning they can pack it in with the fans. That's if you want to fight there. And I don't think Mayweather Jr. would. He wants to fight in Las Vegas, if unless it's a sideshow type thing, like he did in Japan a couple of years back. Um, but others would fight there if the money's right. And this is where boxing has the advantage over Major League Baseball, the NBA, the NFL, the NCAA sports. Those are American sports that stay here. Boxing can go to other countries and compete. So you sell the fight to other countries that can give you a gate, or you oversell if it's a place like a Dubai who can have a live gate, or they'd even overpay more if it was determined there would be no fans in attendance. That's how bad they want boxing. And that's part of the reason why the only thing holding up the Sully Lomachenko versus uh Teofimo Lopez fight is they're trying to find a way to have at least a few thousand fans in attendance. And I'm not against that at all for that fight. I'd still think that it's a much better break-even point than a Mayweather Jr. Broner. Let's say a Crawford versus Spence Jr. something like that. But could Crawford versus Spence Jr. work with no fans? I say no. All right, let's close this out with some scheduled fights and some rumored fights. All right, July 2nd, Las Vegas. Scheduled. That's this Thursday. Jose Pedraza, Mikel Lespierre, take two. 10 rounds, junior welterweight. Also on that card is Robesi Ramirez, taking on Adam Gonzalez, who I think he beat in the amateurs. I believe he did. July 21st, Las Vegas, ESPN. Oscar Valdez, Jason Velez, 10 rounds. Good fight. Also, Edgar Berlanga is on the undercard, taking on Eric Moon. July 24th, scheduled, Indio, California. We'll see. Virgil Ortiz versus Samuel Vargas. Good fight. 10 rounds, welterweight. Mercito Hesta, also on the card, or Gesta, if you want to pronounce the G. Shane Mosley Jr. versus Jeremy Ramos. And Siniesta Estrada, also on the card in the junior flyweight. August 1st, Sky Sports, The Zone from England. Title fight, Sam Eggington, Ted Cheeseman for Eggington's IBF, International Junior Middleweight title. And also a title fight, James Tennyson and Gavin Gwynn. That's for the British lightweight title, which is big. That's big over there. August 14th, Sky Sports, The Zone. Title fight, Felix Cash, Jason Welborn. That's for the Commonwealth middleweight title. August 15th, Tulsa, Oklahoma, The Zone. Here we go. Julio Cesar Martinez versus McWilliams Arroyo. That's a good fight. That's for Martinez's WBC World Flyweight title. Also, title fight, Cecilia Brækhus versus Jessica McCaskill. Another good fight. Cecilia is just, that's her MO. I mean, nothing comes easy. And if she wins that puts her in line for something bigger. Also on that card is Raymond Ford, Camden, New Jersey, upcoming prospect. August 22nd, Sky Sports Online from England. Dillian White versus Alexander Povetkin for White's WBC interim heavyweight title, whatever that means. Also, Katie Taylor in a title fight. We thought it was going to be a different title fight, but TBA. Sergey Kuzmin also on the card, and then Luther Clay versus Chris Congo for Clay's WBO, global welterweight title. August 28th, Indio, California, Jorge Linares versus Javier Fortuna. That's either going to be 10 or 12 rounds. They haven't decided. So it looks like it's going to be Haney versus Campbell, and then Linares versus Fortuna, and then with the hopes of setting up a Haney-Linares showdown if they both get through their opponents. And I don't use the word opponent lightly. I mean, these guys anybody could win out of these four guys in these two fights. And then in September, Lomachenko versus Lopez, which is an A+ matchup. All right, a little bit more. October 3rd, Cardiff, Wales, Lee Selby and George Kambosos. And that's an IBF lightweight eliminator. October 17th, Newcastle, England, Lewis Ritson, Miguel Vasquez. That's a good one. Vasquez, that's a good matchup. Then you got two fights yet to be rescheduled, but surely should take place later this year. Marius Briedis versus Uniel Dorticos. And then Alexander Usyk versus Derek Chisora. Two fights people want to see for sure. Also on July 25th, PBC Awakens. You got Tomas Delorme versus Jamal James. That's an okay matchup. That's okay. I think that is Is that Fox? It might be Fox. Got to check that one. Sergio Martinez is chiming in. He's coming back soon, and Kermit Centrone called him out. He wants to fight him. So we'll see. That'll be uh, part two of a controversial draw they had some years ago. Um, October 17th. I think on the Ritson Vasquez undercard, you also have no. Check that. Sergio Martinez on his card. You got Sergio Garcia and also Kiko Martinez on the card. So it'll have some names on it. Oscar Rivas versus Devin Vargas. There's supposed to be a co-feature for a top-ranked card in Canada, headlined by Artur Beterbiev or Beterbiev, take your pick. David Benavidez has something lined up in Arizona, probably against a lower level top 25 guy. Rumor has it it's Romer Angulo, but you never know in this sport. You got Jeff Horn in a grudge match against Costazu's son, Tim. That truly is a grudge match. They don't like each other. That's when I don't want to hear all this talking and all this anticipation, and then these guys start hugging each other when they fight. So hopefully it won't go that way. Inoue should be back soon in Las Vegas in a unification with the Casamayor guy. Josh Taylor should be coming up with Top Rank later this year, and he's hoping to set up a showdown with Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez versus Victor Postal should be rescheduled. And the hope is that Ramirez and Taylor win to set up a big time showdown. Boy, man, I hope that's something I can get to, but we just don't know which way the world's going to go. So, and then Rung Visai, he's going to fight, I think, in his home country, and don't know who as of yet. So that's about it. We're about 30 minutes in. This is just a test for to see how this StreamYard thing works. And I'll probably only use this when I go live. And so check out the fights on Thursday night. It's another Top Rank on ESPN card, July 2nd. Pedraza versus Les Pierre was supposed to happen a couple of weeks ago, but Les Pierre's manager tested positive for whatever you want to call it, for my conspiracy people out there. And Robesi Ramirez is back in. So make sure you check it out, and we'll catch you on the next one.